What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I do want to spoil some stuff, Scream-related, or at least potential spoilers, right? I want to talk about who I believe are the two Ghostface killers, and who the trailer, featurettes, TV spots, all of those heavily point to being them, okay? So I'm only going based off of that. Again, we've talked about leaks, but I keep those completely separate because you never know. They could be real. They could be completely fake. But again, based off of everything we've seen, two names really stand out. So I want to talk about them, talk about why I believe they are going to be the killers, and talk about, is it okay that we know this already from everything we've seen, and, go from there. Okay, so again, turn away if you don't want pure speculation. I know there's some people out there that don't want that. I don't know why they click on the video in the first place, but I believe the two killers pretty easily are Richie and Amber. Now, granted, and I do want to make this very apparent, this is just my opinion, could be very wrong, and honestly, at this point, I want to be wrong. I want both of these two to not be the killer, or maybe one, so that there's a little bit of mystery and that the entire thing isn't, I would argue, ruined right now. There's a lot going on there, and there's a lot people can probably point at, yada, yada, but let's talk about it a little, okay? The reasoning, I would say, is pretty straightforward. There's obviously, some behind-the-scenes stuff that you can, I guess, take from the characters. So, Amber, we know that she has a thing for Tara. You can tell that by a lot of stuff, including promotions, including the cast talking. I mean, it's just kind of known. So there's a link there, right? There's a link between them, and there's also a link between Richie and Sam, boyfriend, girlfriend. So, I'm not saying that relationships have to mean one of the two is a killer, but that's a good starting point. Obviously, an early thing that the movie, I think, is going to do, immediately, and they already did, I would argue, immediately with the promotion in terms of the first trailer, is having Amber be the one who's phone, clearly something's going on. So, we don't know how the hacking of Tara's phone's going to go, although I have a theory there that I'll say in a second. But, already we know she's talking to Amber, and it seems like it's a normal conversation, and all of a sudden it turns, kind of creepy, kind of like, oh, obviously this is not Amber anymore, and, they go for that. So, immediately there's going to be something there. It's honestly even the same thing with the phone situation, and the phone situation was kind of weird in 4. It was a little confusing, but let's just say for, I guess to make it very easy, the phone situation really implicated at least Trevor, Jill, in that, even maybe Kirby, but at least Trevor and Jill. And now only one of them turned out to be the killer, but immediately you have to consider when somebody's phone is being used, there's got to be some, you know what I mean? There has to be, in a way, whether they're being targeted themselves or whether it's all an act or they're trying to claim that they're innocent, because of course you're going to think they're the most guilty, right? All of those things. So I guess that's kind of where I'm going with this. Amber's phone is used immediately, so maybe you're supposed to think, oh, too obvious, can't be her, but no, it was actually her. The hacking of the house could very well be Richie, because if Sam knows maybe the passwords or something like that, maybe Richie can get into Sam's phone, or maybe Richie can mess with it, which I guess I'm basically indicating that both of them could be there in the beginning of the movie. Okay, so that's another, easy thing. The promotions have not been nice to Amber in terms of making her look innocent. When she's holding Ghostface, she looks the most malicious out of all of them. She looks like she's kind of enjoying holding it the most out of all of them. You also have that classic shot of her with the camera on her phone going down in the basement or the garage or whatever, right? And it's she looks kind of guilty. It's just, now those are just looks, you know what I mean? But they don't help. They don't help at all steer anything away from her, okay? So you have that. The biggest thing with Amber is because she's on fire. Now, we talked about that in when I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt with the hallucination video of Sam that I did a few days ago, where it's okay, well, if it's a dream or if it's a hallucination, I'll give it to them. I mean, they got me, they got us, you know what I mean? It's not real, great. And I think people made some really good points in the comments of that video as well, where it's I just don't know how it can't be her. You know what I mean? And that's her on fire. I think we're all in agreement that's her on fire. And the thing is, why, and this is also what people had said in the comments, how Is she on fire and Sydney's there and Sydney's not doing anything? There's distance between them. That's a thing that I think personally is important. Now you could say it's a split second. I mean, we do not see her on fire for long. It's very possible that like Sydney maybe jumps in after and puts a towel over her. I don't know, however you put away fires. You know what I mean? But I just don't see it. And again, you have to look at that stove, right? The stove is on, which I think really builds the theory that Sydney's clever. She's sly, right? So maybe she does something to Amber where she gets her wet with something that's flammable, and then she turns on the stove, and maybe they switch spots, and Amber lights herself on fire by accident. Or you know, that's what I said, and maybe that happens, maybe that doesn't. Another thing that people were saying is maybe she does it to herself. She purposely sets herself on fire as kind of like a thank you or like praising kind of Sydney thing, but she's still the killer. I don't see how that happens with her being a innocent victim. And I said that in that video, and I will say that here. I don't see how she's put on fire, no matter how she's put on fire, no matter what happens the scene before or after. I don't see how that happens with her being completely innocent and her not being Ghostface. Okay? So you have that. When it comes to Richie, I'll try to go a little bit faster because I spent so much time on Amber. Richie, I got two things. Well, obviously, again, he's the boyfriend, so that I think that immediately puts him in a suspect list. Number two, he could be like the brawn, by the way, right? Like the strength. He could be the one attacking Dewey. I would not be surprised at all if that is the case. But another thing is, you see him twice in the house. And again, we talked about this in the Sam hallucination. He is the one that Sam is stabbing. In that scene where Sam like looks beyond her and she goes for like an overhead knife swing, that's him. So could be a hallucination, could be I just don't like, unless Sam is the killer, which I guess is possible. I just don't see them doing the same thing twice with like Jill and then her. I just don't. But I mean, maybe, I guess, again, I'm kind of giving it to them where it's like, please, like, you know, don't make it so that you already showed it. But I don't understand any other reason why the final girl would be stabbing her boyfriend. You know what I mean? Whether she misses and he kicks her or, you know, whatever, she's still going at him. And I would assume she's not the aggressor, so he started it, which means he's the killer. Also, as people had pointed out, right, and I said this before as well, Sydney in the TV spot when she's going up the stairs and Ghostface is calling, and she's aiming a gun at somebody before Ghostface pops out of the room or the closet or whatever to attack her, she's pointing the gun at Richie. So I would imagine the final couple people that are at this house is Sydney, the person in that mask. Amber at some point gets lit on fire, right? Richie is there tied up. Like, obviously, he's not doing anything because Sydney wouldn't be just holding a gun to him. Sam is probably obviously still there, right? So, like, that's kind of the final. Now, because we know Amber walks out, by the way, injured, but that could very well be fake. Oh, that was another thing, by the way, that doesn't help her because it's very much a, you know, kind of a reference back to probably Billy, right? So it's like, okay, you're really making her look suspect. And then Richie, why is he sitting there like tied up? I mean, I guess he's supposed to be captured, but again, that could easily just be a red herring where you're supposed to think, oh, he's captured, so he's fine, but he just lets himself go because he is Ghostface. You know what I mean? So why is he there? Why is Sam stabbing him? Again, I feel like the hospital where he gets sliced by Ghostface in that one scene, I think that's just to kind of rule him out. Because it's like, well, obviously it can't be him because Ghostface attacked him. I just really think it's those two. And by the way, I also think people thought Richie for a long time. Like, people, like, that he was always kind of a suspect even before we saw the trailer. So, in my opinion, those are the two. I gave you the reasons. It's also just my opinion. I want to hear from you, but I really quickly want to talk about, like, is that okay? The answer is no. To me, it's not okay. And that's where maybe I differentiate myself from, like, other people online. I don't think it's cool how spoilery the trailer, the featurette, and all that stuff has been. Now, I've seen the argument online that, you know, you have to do this to normal people or people that aren't diehards, people that don't analyze every single thing, and those are the majority. And I get that. I understand that. I actually said that myself, right? All of that stuff is totally true. You're not making this Scream movie just for me and just for fans of the original because that's not enough people. You also need new people. But at the same time, the whole movie, and I'm going to make, by the way, I want to make a video entirely on that argument. But you have to, like, you got to think, like, if the trailer spoiled the killers. So if those two, if we go see the movie and those two are the killers, we nailed it. And we nailed it because of a few key sections of trailers and TV spots. That's how we nailed it. And that's, I don't want to call it lazy because I don't think it's lazy. I think it's just like they kind of had to do it or there was no way around it. But even that, I mean, I guess I'm kind of giving them too much credit there. Like, if you ruin the killers of a whodunit slasher flick by showing them, you know, in weird predicaments in the trailer and stuff, you did it wrong. You just flat out did. And yeah, at the end of the day, maybe it's a lesser amount of people that are mad about it. Like, if the movie comes out and that stuff happens, I will probably make a video on it. And I would imagine the majority maybe doesn't even care because the majority may have only seen the trailer once. That's another thing you got to remember, right? No, yes, I may have watched the trailer dozens of times. There's people that watch the trailer hundreds of times. Some people watched it once. Some people watched it one time. Some people didn't see the TV spots. Some people aren't going to see the second trailer. Some people are going to see it one time and go to the movie. And they're not going to think about that one time that they saw the trailer all that much. They're going to say, oh my God, like, that looked really cool and I wonder who it is. And oh, Sydney's back and all that stuff. Like, that's how, normies, and it's not a bad thing. It's just what I would assume they're called, right? That's how they are. And so it's tough. It's definitely tough. But, to say, is it okay? And I guess it's a stupid question, honestly, and I know I'm the one asking it, but to say, like, is it okay that we know who the Ghostface killers are going into Scream? If you think that's okay, I don't know. I feel like that's a horrible thing. I feel like that failed, and so we'll see. And again, that really ties into the trailer with the fire of Amber. Like, Jesus Christ, that better not be how it is, because how could you have a scene that big in the trailer? And I don't know. I just don't know how you can do that. So let me know what you guys think. Like I said, I will make another video. I want to talk about the trailer overall, not just with the killers, but just showing too much in general. I want to make that video very, very soon. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on, all that good stuff, and I will see you all for the next video.